All right, everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today is Sunday, and we are going to continue reading the Sefer Siach Sarfi Kodesh, which is Breslov history, Breslov Messiah, Breslov stories, Breslov Inyanim, autobiographies. We are in the middle. We've been learning the Sefer already for 2-3 months on this channel on Sundays, and we are up to the section of it's about Rav Noson mostly. Rav Noson was Rebbe Nachman's main student. This is what the Sefer looks like. We're in Chelik Beis. So we're just going to continue. I think we started learning about Rav Noson in the Sefer already for about 2-3 weeks already. So we're just going to continue reading about him and stuff about him. So it says over here that Mornat, the way that they say Rav Noson in the Sefer is Mornat in Breslov, Morenu HaRav Noson. So Mornat was noig to come every year, one time a year, to spend Shabbos in the ear of Kremenchuk. After he would spend Shabbos in the ear of Turin, he would do one Shabbos in the ear of Turin, and then one Shabbos in Kremenchuk. And Rabbi Ephraim, who was the son of Rav Naftali, who lived in Kremenchuk, he would come to spend Shabbos in Turin. He didn't. It wasn't like enough for him that he already knew that Rav Noson was going to come next week to his city, but he wanted to spend every Shabbos with Rav Noson when he was in his area. So he went to Turin when Rav Noson was in Turin, and then he went to Kremenchuk, and that's where he lived. So he was there for 2 Shabbos with Rav Noson. Kishegia Mornat leChirin. So one year, Rav Noson came to Chirin, and Rabbi Ephraim, who we just spoke about, didn't come yet. And Rav Noson said, if we would have had Rabbi Ephraim with us for Shabbos, then we would have had a Shabbos Nifla, a wondrous Shabbos. Right? I mean, this was before Shabbos started, right? And right before Shabbos, Rabbi Ephraim came, and he said over afterwards the amount of his soyrus that he had. He said after Shabbos, he said on Friday night, right? He said on Friday night, I had enough strength and his slavas to handle all the kedusha that was there, but by Shabbos morning already, the table was already soaking wet with my tears, and I did not know what to do with me. Meaning he was experiencing such a holy Shabbos. So Shabbos with Rav Noson, we can see from this, was a very holy experience. Okay, next little piece over here. It says one of the Chassidim, wanted to every day only sit on Torah and Avodah, and he did not want to learn, and he didn't want to work at all, and to have any asik with any parnasa at all. And how is he going to have money? That people will just give him money, a little bit of here, a little bit of there, whatever. And when he asked Rav Noson about this, if it's okay to do this, Rav Noson said, no, it's not okay. You should continue in your business, but you should make every day you should have solid learning times before you go to your store, and even in the store you should have a little bit of svarim here and there to learn while you're waiting, and anytime you're free you should always learn. And that's what he did, and that's good. Okay, there was one time a wedding that was in the city of Breslov, and it went on till the early morning, like that was the minute back then. And the person who was playing drums, at the wedding, fell asleep. And his name was Rabbi Yaakov Hamechune Yankel. Rabbi Yaakov, and they called him Yankel. And the person who was leading the band saw that he was sleeping. He gave him a little slap, and he says, Yankel, play fifth besimcha. Yankel, play your drums besimcha. He said, Yankel, klap freilich. And Yankel woke up like with a little bit of like he cried out a little bit because of this slap, but he continued to drum with all of his strength. And when Rav Noson saw this, he took this as a mashal about serving Hashem. That just like they hit a person with all types of yeridas and ashlachas and depressions and sadness and confusions, afal pichein, the only choice that you have is to keep on going and to hit the Yetzer Hara back and to keep on going with all of your strength and also b'simcha. And the Sefer Avaneh Barzel, which is in the Sefer Koich Ve'or, it's also, they write that this story was by Rebbe Nachman, and he's finished off and he says, Afal pishek about the stira, even though you got a slap, chayiv hincha letoifif shuv b'simcha. Right? A patch gechapt und freilich geklappt. You have to keep on going b'simcha. One time, the Anash, the Chassidim, were praising in front of Rav Noson, a person, one of the Gedolim, right? That he was coming to the city and he knew 1,000 pages of Gemara by heart. And Rav Noson said, Oizer, he was talking about his student, Rabbi Oizer, he could scream out to Hashem 1,000 times, Ribono Shel Olam. So he's saying that that's like on the same level. Like you also have to know how to be close to Hashem, not just knowing Gemara by heart. One time, a Meforsim, a big Rebbe, came to the city of Teplik, and everybody in the city went to him with kvitluch and pidyonis, and everybody had what they wanted to ask, and he was taking in people the whole entire night, the full night. And when they told this to Rav Noson, he says, Laila Shalom Levakish Rak al Gashmias, a full night that people were only asking on Gashmias, and on Ruchnias they weren't asking at all. You always have to ask for Ruchnias when you go to a Rebbe, not only about Parnasa, not only about that. In the Sefer Chaim Moran, Simin Tov Kuf Yud Aleph, it's told over, there's a story there that Rabbeinu said that he knows about a certain Sefer. You have to look over there for the full story. It doesn't elaborate here, but there was this very holy sofer that Rebbe Nachman wanted certain tefillin written for him from this sofer dafka, and Rav Noson went. And Rav Noson said one time that he also wanted to get his parshias for his tefillin from this sofer. But what happened is that one time when he went with Rebbe Nachman on the way, Rebbe Nachman wore Rav Noson's tefillin. So therefore, Rav Noson wanted to keep those tefillin more because Rebbe Nachman wore them, and he didn't end up going to get the parshias from this special sefer. One time, when Rav Noson spoke about the gedulos of Rebbe Nachman, about the greatness of Rebbe Nachman, one of the chassidim asked him, was like, Rav Noson, what are you always, talking about the gedulos of Rebbe Nachman for? We get it, like so much to talk about it all the time. And Rav Noson says, he says, I'm making noise about this. Okay, let's make even more noise about this. Like, it's always good to keep on praising and talking about Rebbe Nachman, because in the future, Yiskalev Yisparsim Shem Rabbeinu Ba'olam, in the future, Rebbe Nachman's name will be Misparsim in the world, and it will be a very, very big Rash Gadol. There will be a lot of noise about this. They say over that one time Rav Noson says B'derech Tzachus, in a comedic way, in a holy, funny way, I had in my Rebbe, he said that I had in my life two Rebbes. One Rebbe that taught me Aleph Beis, and the second Rebbe was Rebbe Nachman. I very, very much feel like that also, the same type of way. One time Rav Noson asked Rabbi Meir Tepliker, like, what's up? How are you? Ma shlomcha? And Rabbi Meir says, I'm good. And said, Amar le Marnat, l'chazeh toiv, this is good for you. I know that all the time you need to keep on going to Kfarim to daven to Hashem. So what does it mean? V'yesh nuscha acheres she'amar loi. He's saying that from your answer, it seems that you're not being mischadesh in your service of Hashem. right? Because if you were mischadish in the service of Hashem, right, then a lot of things would happen to you. You'd be going up and down, all these different things, right? That happen to people who start serving Hashem seriously. And you would have told me about these things, but you didn't. Since you're not doing it right. Saying it's good, you have to talk to people. That's what he's trying to say. You have to keep on going. I think that's what he's trying to say. Okay, let's keep on going over here. One time when Rav Noson spoke about, again, the greatness of Rebbe Nachman and his praises, another type of story about this. He says one of the Chassidim asked him, "Where do you take all these praises from?" So Rav Noson answered him. He says, "If the tzaddik Rav Michal of Zlotchev said one time, Kizu neshama nekiya k'moy guf naki v'kodesh yesh li adayin lo hoyse b'olam," he says, I think he says that Rav Michal of Zlotchev said about himself that I have a very, very clean neshama in this world, and it was never like this in the world, right? So what does that mean? And Rav Noson says we don't understand what he meant. So Elama, I believe in his words, and just like that, I also believe in the shifche of Rebbe Nachman, that he also said about himself that there's never been a neshama like me in this world, and all these different things. We don't have a saga in them. What they mean really. The Beis Midrash shel Rab David Tzvi Chosin Marnat. In the shul, in the Beis Medrash of Rabbi David Tzvi, who was the father-in-law of Rav Noson, was a very, very big tzaddik. But he was not a chassid. He was a very serious Litvish person. So they were knowing that a person did not come and daven in front of the Amid unless Rabbi David Tzvi said that he could daven, because he was the Rav of the place. So one time he sent in front of the Amid his son-in-law, who was Rabbi Noson's brother-in-law, right? What's it called? And after a small time, the guy got sick. This son-in-law fell down and was sick, and he had to be brought to a bed. So I think right after he davened, in the middle of davening, anyway, Rav David Tzvi came to visit him, and he said to him, "I'm worried that the cause of my sickness is because of this proudness and kavod that I was taking when I was davening for David." Right? And Rabbi David Tzvi says, "Schar tefillah is Gan Eden, oinish hageh is hu Gehenim," and the punishment for haughtiness is Gehenim. But the mitzvah you still did. He's saying that you still did a mitzvah, but you're getting punished for doing it not exactly, the proper way. Rabbeinu Berach es Marnat. Rabbi Nachman blessed Marnat that any time, I think I said this before in a different video, that any time that he wanted to go to sleep, he would fall asleep right away. And even at nighttime when he wanted to just sleep a little bit, right away when he put his head down on the pillow, he would fall asleep right away. So that was something that he got from Rav Noson that he got from Rebbe Nachman to help him in his service of Hashem. He can go to sleep whenever he wants, so he always have energy to keep on waking up for chatzos and doing more service of Hashem. One time when Rav Noson would take somebody to sleep in the same room as him, he would always take someone, I guess at the end of his life, after his wife was in, he slept by himself, whatever, he didn't want to sleep alone. He didn't not sleep alone. So he would always take someone who was like a deep sleeper, because he did not want to wake up this guy when he was doing his avodas in the middle of the night. And Rabbi Nachman Tulchin said that one time I was in the same room as Rav Noson. I was the person who was chose to sleep in the same room, right? And I tried to stay up late. And I tried to stay up so that I could see what he did at night. Rav Noson came over to me and says, "Adayin, you're still up? Sleep." And then I fell asleep, like a very, very deep sleep fell upon me, and I was not able to see anything. And this story happened by many other Chassidim also, that they all wanted to stay up to see Rav Noson's avodah, but they were not able to because Rav Noson made them fall asleep. Now let's do two more pieces over here. One time they said to Marnat that it's bought in Svarim that somebody who doesn't have fish on Shabbos, he should be worried the whole entire week. Right? So Rav Noson says, he said, just because you don't have fish on Shabbos and now you have something else to worry about and break us and make us feel bad the whole entire week, even though, yeah, there's definitely a need to eat fish on Shabbos, but, it's okay. If you didn't get fish, so you didn't have fish. You don't have to, Rav Noson saying, you don't have to, be sad about it the whole entire week. Okay, last piece over here. One time Rav Noson was speaking about the Torah Haner B'Laila, which is a teaching in Likutei Imran, lesson 52, and it talks about the Indian of going outside the city to do his hispaidus. So Amrullah Kamamanash, some of the Chassidim told Rav Noson that they were scared to go outside the city to do his hispaidus. So Rav Noson told him a story that one time there was these robbers that came to a city, murderers, whatever, and they came to one city and everybody was scared. So they all ran out of the city in different directions because they didn't want to get killed or whatever. And one of the people who was running away was a man that everybody knew that he was a pachtan. He was very scared of everything. He was scared of everything. And when he ran, he actually hid himself inside a cemetery. And he stayed there the whole entire night. And the next day, when everybody came back, they asked him, how do you do it? Like, how did you not get scared to stay in the cemetery the whole entire night? You're always you're scared of everything. And he said to him, that the people who came to the city to rob us and to hurt us, they put such a fear on me that I already forgot that I was scared of anything else. And Rav Noson said, this is also the same type of thing when you're serving Hashem. It says in the Zohar, Perish, it means, what does that mean? It says somebody who's in a doichak situation, someone who's in a very intense situation, he doesn't look at anything. He doesn't even care that there's things in front of him that are going to block his way. He's going to do everything at all costs to figure out what to do to get himself out of this intense situation, right? So he's saying that when you feel the pachad in the year of the Yom Din Haba, so all the fears of not going out to the field and being scared to go out at night to the field will go away from you. So one fear will basically take away the other fear. But that fear is the main fear, and you'll be able to break everything else because you know that you're in the situation. All right, I think that's good for today. Hope everybody enjoyed a little bit of Rav Noson's wisdom and tairas and stuff. And we'll be back on Tuesday with some more stories and stuff like that.